let's take a look at the communication process. Communication entails a mutual sharing of ideas and feelings among people. Communication comes from the Latin word communicate, which means to share or to make common. Communication is a sharing process, a cooperative enterprise to exchange ideas and information to establish effective human relations and outcomes. Disclosure can be both descriptive and prescriptive because it conveys independent realities, what is, and what ought to be, within the cultural environment. Disclosure can be complex or simple, deceptive or real. To communicate successfully is to bring about change in behavior through understanding, acceptance, and support. To understand the communication process, I think this model best captures what's going on. From a messenger sending and encoding a message through some sort of communication channel and the receiver decoding that message and ultimately receiving its meaning. And all of this is highlighted by a feedback loop that makes the process continual. One-way communication refers to speaking or lecturing with no intention of feedback from the receiver. Unless time is allotted later for feedback, shared understanding is not likely to exist and desired outcomes might not be achieved. Two-way communication is a reciprocal process in which the sharing of ideas takes place through exchanges between the sender and the receiver. Dialogue, the mutual sharing of information, allows for greater understanding of problems. Rumor is a message or action devoid of fact and transmitted with great speed. Rumor is perhaps the most rapid form of communication and depends largely on wishful thinking and inaccurate listening. When formal communications are infrequent or slow to be transmitted, rumors are transmitted instead. Communication is power, and the idea that communication is neutral or apolitical is naive. Language is used to sway opinion, and users of language have objectives to accomplish. Language also reflects the culture in which communication is conducted, and therefore communication becomes the practice of exclusion. The situation in which communication is conducted greatly influences language, tone, and nonverbal behavior. Authority is not determined by hierarchy alone, but by the situation and the person who can exercise competence and leadership in the situation. Persuasion and influence are best accomplished through face-to-face meetings and in surroundings that are non-intimidating. Change requires one to see a personal benefit. Interest has to be successfully aroused to make the change personally desirable and rewarding. Change in behavior and attitude increases with the degree of credibility the leader has in the eyes of subordinates. Informal networks exist in all types of organization and have similar patterns of information flow. The importance and reliability of networks depends on information accuracy, speed, and the credibility of the source. Skill in listening is essential to effective leadership. Poor listeners often have to redo work, spend time in seeking clarification or redirection, and waste resources in doing so. Effective communication is also written communication, and many of the same rules that apply to spoken communication also apply here. Writing style should remain simple, emphasizing clarity and conciseness. Effective communication requires dedicated work and an awareness of formal and informal communication process. The following objectives are designed to achieve a more effective communication. Administering a communication survey to assess formal and informal communication patterns. Setting up formal communication networks. Establishing a more effective informal communication network. Improving communication skills on a personal basis.